Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday. Almost to Friday. It is Saturday Eve, as it were. Hopefully you're all doing great. I am looking forward to seeing how far we can get in deploying this out to AWS. So I didn't really work on it very much last night. I didn't, pretty much all that I did was add like the beginnings of a README, and I moved like something into a function. Like that's all I really did. We'll go over those. But so starting with this, we now have a README where I have like a checklist of generally what we need to do for this, and I built this out from the instructions that we had found on the example application for Pulumi that does this. Let me see if I can go find that again. Not in there. Let's see. It was. Okay, so it was here to deploy, and then they have their view code. And so this is the general idea here. We construct an S3 bucket. They then use Pulumi to put every single object, every single file in it. However, down here at the bottom, they actually say this slows things down significantly the more files that we get. So right now it's probably going to be fine if we were to do this, but in the long run, the best way to really do this is to switch to a AWS CLI method and just sync, which I'm fine with. I think that's the better way to do it anyways. Pulumi I don't think is really great for copying files over. I don't think that's really its job. Okay, so the following, so S3, CloudFront, Route 53, we're gonna set that up. Certificate manager. Okay, so if they're gonna have configs set up like this. Okay, so first thing, actually we can just go look at their code. That might be the easiest. They grab their config stuff out. Okay, they first create this bucket. And so we also have that. So I first start by creating a bucket, and here we go. So now this is hard coded in here. If I was going to share this, create bucket with something else, then I would need to deal with, maybe change things around, use some configs instead. Right now, this should be fine. And then for the website, we're gonna try using index.html for both index and error, but I'm not sure. I might actually want to have just like a separate error page, like an error, but we'll experiment around with it. Okay, so after creating our S3 bucket, they're gonna copy all the files in using this sort of like hacky method. Not a good idea, I don't think. Sync the contents of the source directory with the S3 bucket, which will in turn show up on a CDN. Okay, so this one is crawl the directory. This is, again, we are creating a bucket object for every single file. We don't need to do that. Okay, they're going to create a logs bucket that's going to contain CDN request logs. This is probably a good idea. So we're going to create another bucket, but this time, so this was a web bucket. Okay, and this log bucket basically just has a name and an ACL, and that's it. So I'm thinking we're gonna do bucket prefix again for this. So return a new AWS S3 bucket. This is gonna be a log bucket. Okay, we can do a bucket prefix. Interestingly enough here, okay, so bucket prefix, I think that we should actually take these in as parameters now and use that. So and is this really like just like the project name? Like it's kind of what this is, right? We're gonna name it as the project name. Okay, so I guess this would be bucket name equals. So if we start with exactly what we had before, that was builds platform. John Will 86, hello. Okay, so this is Brooks Builds platform. Then we can have like log. I probably want like the stack. So if it's like the if it's like the dev stack or the production stack or whatever we want to call it, then that will that's gonna be a different bucket. So I probably want to change this to a template string. So it'll be something like this. And then we'll use Pulumi. Oh, we I think it's like Pulumi dot get stack. That returns a string. Okay, so that gives me this bucket name here. And then that will be the name of this, the code bucket. But the log bucket, I probably want to add in like logs at the end of it. And I don't know if I'm gonna need to have this be a prefix anymore. It still may be a good idea. We might also run out of characters for this. Can I actually see? 23 characters. We have 32 total, and so this is dev, and then prod will be another. Okay, we have another what? 6, 7, 7 more characters to play with. That's we're getting close. If we should probably get the stack here and verify and double check that. So and prefix goes in like that. And then back to here, the biggest thing is ACL and private. Okay, so now we have a web bucket created and a log bucket created. The only real difference here between a web bucket and a log bucket is having this website in, and then having the ACL private. And although I think they're all private by default, so I don't even know if I need that. I think this is all we need. Which, to me, I bet we can combine these together. And have like an if statement. Okay, so we can have an options that will add in the website if we want it. So we can have this be a Boolean here. We can have the Boolean by default be false. So that way it's not required. That also means it needs to be at the very end here. Okay, and so then that will be this thing. So we will create our options with our bucket prefix coming in here. I almost want to just change this to be name. And we'll just say, hey, bucket prefix, your name. You become this name. Then if website, so if this is true, then I want to say options dot website is equal to this thing. Wait, doesn't... I could swear that I could do that. Hold on. Yeah, website is a thing of this. So option goes in there. That should be fine. Oh, okay, I think I get what it is. So bucket, your second thing here is this bucket args is what you are. So I need, it can't tell what this type is, so I need to tell it that it's the bucket args. That will make it a little bit happier. Okay, so then down, we don't need this create log bucket anymore. Okay, so bucket name, we figure out what the bucket name is going to be. So Brooksville platform, dev, or prod, or whatever our stacks are going to be. Lock bucket name will be, so dev logs or prod logs. Cons bucket. Okay, so we create the main code bucket, and we'll do a create web bucket, hand it the bucket name, and then this one is a website true. This one is a false. So your create web bucket, log bucket name, and that's it. Now to verify that things are working, I can export some of these. So we're going to export bucket name, log bucket name. Have to then when we run this, okay, I don't think the export did what I was expecting it to, but we can see the name here. So it's going to create, here's our stack name. I guess like here's the project name with the stack at the very end. So we have Brooksville's platform dev logs, Brooksville's platform dev for the two buckets that we're going to create. I'm going to say no, don't create it yet. Continuing on. Okay, so this was not how we actually make things available to us. But there must be a way, there must be a system for us to do that. I forget what it is. I think it's at the very bottom of the document. Okay. They have 10 minutes waited here. Okay, so we also have the two buckets. So create S3 buckets, which is going to be for code and logs. Okay, so this is let's certificate ARN, Pulumi input. Okay, so they're going to get the certificate ARN from Pulumi here. They have a bang at the end. Okay. Only provision a certificate and related resources if the certificate is not provided via our configuration. Okay, so we want to try to get a certificate ARN, and if that is undefined, then we'll create one. And it has to be in US East 1 because that is that's where CloudFront is. Well, we're doing all of this in US East 1, so that should be fine. Okay, so next step is get, or I guess like a certificate. So get if, I guess we don't need to get if we already have an ARN. So get existing if exists in config, create if not. So the get existing is pretty easy. We can create a config that we can grab stuff from here. Let's see, so this is going to be config equals Pulumi config. Oh, this is a class. So then we can grab stuff out of here like so. Is gonna ask us, so you can see here it is, oh, they're grabbing it from this. They created this this config like that, and they're getting it from stack config, which is grabbing out of here. I'm okay with just grabbing it here into these variables. If this doesn't exist, we should get an undefined. And we can see that that's what they're doing here. Yeah, if it's undefined, or we can just do an if not, then we have to create the certificate. And this is, what is that certificate? Okay, it's an AWS ACM certificate. All right, so all of these are optional, it looks like. So we have the certificate authority ARN, certificate body, certificate chain, domain name, options, private key, all that fun stuff. Let's see. So in here, they created a new provider for US East 1. We're already in there, so that should be fine. If config include www included required alternate names to support the www domain. Do I want to support www.brooksbuilds.com? I think I do want this to be the root of like brooksbuilds.com or whatever I'm going to use. So it looks like we need to do this. Oh, we also want the config target domain. Target domain is coming from here. So that would be something like brooksbuilds.com. Okay. So we need domain name. This would be something like Brooks. I am not sure which one I've got. Ooh, also I might have to go up and grab my YubiKey. Yep, because I need my MFA code And that is upstairs. So hold on, I need to go grab that really quickly. I'll be right back. I'm back, and I came back with Goofy. Although you don't want to. I don't think you can see him just out of your. Oh no, you can see him. He's trying to get into that door. He always wants to go into that closet. We even let him in supervised a few times, and he still wants to just go in there constantly. All right, so I want you. Okay, so that gets me into AWS here. I want to go to Route 53 and just confirm the domain name that I've previously set up. Hi. Sophie. Hi. What's up? Slowly, he's getting to the point where he wants to be held a little bit more often. We're noticing, like, every once in a while, he wants to come up and join us on a couch, or when we're working, he'll just like jump up and sit on our lap, for 5-10 minutes. Then he'll be done, and he'll jump off. So over time, he'll become more of a lap kid again, I'm assuming. I also have to watch out and make sure I don't accidentally roll over his tail. Okay, so I have one hosted zone in here. I'm not showing this because I don't want to accidentally show off anything. Okay, so it is brooksbills.com, all one word. So let's actually have this be a config setup, just in case I do this with anything else. I think that'll be good here. So const domain name equals config.get domain name. If the domain name isn't set, that's bad. So if domain name, let's throw a new error. I should tell it exactly what it's trying to get here. So missing config domain name. Now, if I try to run this right now, I don't have any errors. I think we should just get that row. There it is, missing config domain names. That lets us know what that is. Now, if I want to add that in here, the command is Pulumi config set domain name, and it is just builds.com. And so now if I run this again, it should actually get to the end here. Okay, so now we have a domain name that's set up for the dev stack, and for the prod stack, we would want to, we're gonna need to re-add these configs in again. Okay, so we have that. Let's see, what else do we need in here? Bucket. Okay, so I'm not using those variables. That's fine for right now. We're going to create the certificate, so we need the domain name to commit. Validation method is DNS. That's fine. Subject alternative names. Okay, this is where we do the config, include www. So this one's coming from this, include www. Oh, get boolean, include www. I'm just gonna say yes, we just want this to include www. We'll deal with this later. So where is that? Subject alternative names, config.include www. And what are you? You are... So if this is true, then... Oh, it's just going to be a string www dot the target domain. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So oh, and it's an array. Okay, so create certificate showing that. Then we're going to create the certificate. So new ACM certificate, certificate config. So with this thing, provider. Okay, I don't need to say what provider it is because we're already in the East region. So this should be fine. Okay, so I think we're good now. We have our certificate. We're only gonna have this though. It's gonna be interesting. So if we have a certificate ARN, we just use the certificate ARN, right? The certificate will be creating a certificate. Otherwise, do I want to get the certificate? Oh yeah, this is all if it's undefined. Then we want to create the certificate. Then, oh, we need to set that DNS validation up. Set all of these things up in Route 53. Okay, more stuff to do. So yeah, but this is all going to be if there is no certificate ARN, then create the certificate and we'll pass it in the domain name. Okay, so we got to this part, which is less than halfway through of just the creating the certificate part. Okay, so domain parts. So get domain and subdomain. So target domain. So okay, target domain is going to be something like app.whatever.com. I don't think I have one of those. We're just gonna use www, right? So like we have www, and then we have just the main domain. Is on line 237. Okay, so get domain and subdomain, takes in the domain string, it splits on a dot. Okay, then we get like subdomain, parent domain. So that would be something like, probably not like www dot, but like app dot or something like that. I don't. Do I want this to be on a different like on a different subdomain? Do I want something like platform.brooksbuilds.com and then have like something completely different? I don't think so. I think this is gonna be the main, like the main website. So this is gonna be brooksbuilds.com. The platform is included in that. Which means we don't need to break it up right now. All right, so back here. Hosted zone ID. Okay, so we need to get the zone for the parent domain. Interesting that they're going through domain parts for that, not just domain name for that. Feels a little bit strange, but brooksbuilds.com should be the parent domain for this. So we need to get the hosted zone ID. Yeah, I feel like there's enough in here that I'm going to make this its own function. So get Route 53 zone ID. then we're gonna, okay, so that's a route 53 get zone. This returns a number. Oh, actually, looking at the, okay, hosted zone ID. Okay, so hosted zone ID. That is definitely a string. Ooh, async true? Am I gonna have to async await this? Okay, so we're gonna use, this is a function get zone off of AWS route 53. So, so let's just start with, let's just see what we got here. Const thing. I think it's gonna be our hosted zone ID equals is, so route 53 get zone. It's a function. Then we just have our arguments. So we're gonna have our name, which is just gonna be the parent domain, which in this case is the domain name. That's it. Now they're asking for async true, but if I don't do async, that means it syncs, therefore it will be just fine, right? So if I do that, get zone is going to return, oh no, look at this. It's going to return a promise with a get zone result. Okay, so the U need to be await or async. Okay, so we await getting the zone. This is now going to be the zone. So it's now a get zone result. We need to get the ID out of this. So we're going to return the zone dot ID, which is what we see. Oh, this is zone ID. Zone dot. Oh, zone ID is different. However, this is a promise, so this is going to return a promise with a string inside. So now we're in async land. So that's going to be a little bit rougher because there is no top level async await in JavaScript right now, or at least in Node.js. So at this point, if I want async await for all of this stuff, because like this is now where we need to get this zone ID. It's like const hosted zone ID equal to, I can't do an await. And I don't think I can do like an async block here like I could in Rust, which would be really nice. So I think what we have to do is we're going to create this in a function. An async function. I'll just call it main. You're going to return a promise with just nothing. And all of you go inside. And then down here, we're going to call main. Then we can do a dot then, get nothing out, and we can just console.log, which I don't think actually Pulumi is going to let us see the console log, so it shouldn't really matter. We're going to say finished. All right, so now we should be able to get async await in here. So now I can do an await, get Route 53 hosted zone ID, and pass it in the domain name. Okay, a lot of work to get that. Create a DNS record to prove that we own the domain we're requesting a certificate for. Okay, so we're going to create a brand new Route 53 record. And then we're going to give it like the name. Okay, so the certificate, domain validation options, resource record name, zone ID, type. Okay, this is all from a certificate that is... Okay, this is all from the same certificate up here. Right? Yeah, okay, it's all from this certificate that we got when we created the certificate. Interesting that inside of that we have the domain validation options, resource record name. Okay, the hosted zone ID, default domain validation options, resource record type. Records is an array with a resource record value, and then how long to live, which is that 10 minutes. Okay, so let's create this in its own function too. So this is a validation record. This is going to return a new record. Okay, so you can see some of these things are absolutely required. So name for this we see is actually coming in as the certificate domain. Okay, so you are a string. We have a type. Type is also coming in for us. Type is also a string. Zone ID is a string. Oh, and it's that hosted zone ID, which we already have. Okay, so you're all happy here. So name, zone ID, type, records, and time to live. Records is an array of strings. And we can see that's just literally going to be also from the certificate. I suppose that if we take in a certificate I have to do this outside of that. I don't know. Yeah, let's say I do that. Zone ID is different. We're gonna get that. So certificate is actually this. Yeah. Certificate. So name is now going to be certificate dot domain validation options. Set of domain validation objects which can be used to complete Oh, so they give you everything you need to do that, and apparently it's an array of these. Wolfie Dev, hello. Yeah, you said you'd be back. Well, welcome back. It's been only a day, so awesome to have you back again. Only set if DNS validation is used. Okay, so we are setting DNS validation, so we know this is it is an array, so it's gonna be that one, and then it's gonna be the first one because we only have one thing. So that's why we're hard coding the first one in here, and then it's gonna be the resource record name. Type is the same thing where we're getting the resource record types from this. Zone ID is that hosted zone ID. Records is an array of the resource record value. Okay, so and then we're gonna have time to live. So time to live, they're recommending 10 minutes. It's probably good, especially for the beginning. I think you get charged per time that the DNS is requesting it. Although it's like fractions of a penny. So like if I switch to like an hour, then it would be cheaper for me, but at the same time, it would take minimum an hour between when I made a change and when DNS would pick it up. So 10 minutes is definitely nice, at least for the beginning of things, and we can come back and change this later. So I actually feel like I want to have this be a config option. That would allow us to go in and update this. Let's grab this out here. Actually, here. Oh, we can set this as a, okay, you're gonna be a number, and we're gonna set you as a default. Okay, so we can override this later. So time to live is a number, and our default is 10 minutes. I think it's in milliseconds, right? We saw up here they had the 10 minutes. Yeah. Oh, 60 times 10. Oh, well, that's okay. It's in seconds, so 600. Okay, so we've created this creates our validation record, so now we need to actually use this. So it's not asynchronous, so create route 53, validation record. We're gonna pass in the certificate that we created before, the hosted zone ID and a time to live if we want it to exist. Now that I'm thinking about this, I can give this a lot better number. So what if I do this? You're required, and then we can do something like const 10 minutes equals, how about this? Time to live in minutes. That'll make it really easy. Wait, time to live in minutes? Time to live in seconds. Okay. If config include www, ensure we validate the www subdomain as well. Okay, so we need to do exactly the same thing, but now for www subdomain. So what's the big difference here? A new record. Oh, this is now the first one. So the first one is going to be the root. And then, sorry. Then the second item in that array is going to be... Oh, interesting. I wonder if I want to do some kind of map or loop through this to get those. And really thinking about this, these domain validation options, I should just pass this in as an object, and then I can reuse the function. Okay, then I don't have to do a loop. But I also get these to be very generic. So these are type is not a fun type. I may need to alias this. Okay, so this is your type. So validation options has a type of that, which means I can now replace all of you with validation options. You don't like that. Okay, what if instead you just say that that's you. Okay, I think that likes that a little bit more. Then in here we can do certificate dot domain validation options of 0. Did I get that right? Domain validation options of 0. Yeah. You don't like this. Argument of type output is not assignable to parameter of type certificate domain validation. Okay, so it's like this weird output type. I wonder if I can like get the actual thing. So I can do, we can just get the name, type, and value separately here. Can I apply? Okay, that's a function. So I get the option and I just return the, oh, I return a brand new thing here. So I can do like option dot. Ah, okay. Well, that seems ugly. Like I'm just like pushing things around. I could just like return. Yeah, I don't like it. Okay, so we have the certificate domain validation option. I bet I can create that here. Then we would do an apply. So we do this entire thing. Now we're going to return you, and we're going to use you in here. Oh, come on. Stop. Are you going to figure this out? Okay, so not assignable. Missing the following properties. Domain name, resource record type. Excellent. Okay. Oh, and resource record value. So oh, you just like you don't know what this is supposed to be. Oh, I need this to return this object, literal. So I'm going to do the React trick of like wrapping that in parentheses here. And now, no, you're still not know what this is. Missing. Domain name. Okay, next up is resource record name, resource record type, resource record value. Well, that's great here, but you're still unhappy. Okay, so argument type output, because you're still like an output, aren't you? You're this Pulumi output. And what if it's just like get? Okay, so that's not helpful. So Plumi's giving us like this weird type that we have to like deal with. So if I do a dot get, retrieves the underlying value of this dependency. Function is only callable. Okay, so what if I do? I want you to be this. Certificate domain validation option. So you're going to be that type. And therefore I need to now grab out so I like start Are you happy? No, okay. So that's not happy either. I think what we can do is create this ourselves. I don't know if we have a choice from for this. So like we know we have domain name, resource record, type name. So domain name we already have, right? So these things are now going to be the certificate dot main validation options of 0 dot their thing, right? Ooh. Okay, there we go. No, still unhappy? Type output string. It's still that thing over and over again. So it's very unhelpful. I was really hoping I can like just sort of grab this out, but it looks like it's I'd have to do some like special function to like convert an output to like the raw values. So it's going to be easier to pass in. Okay, it's going to be easier to pass in a certificate, and then which one as an index we're going to deal with. So there, we're going to pass in a certificate, and we're also going to pass in the so certificate, and then I want the index for the validation option index. So this one is going to be 0. And that's the only thing I can think of to like make this kind of okay, without writing a whole bunch of other code to sort of like convert them to the right types. So fun times. Okay, so then here back to name. So we're now going to do certificate main validation options of yeah, validation option index, and then that should be fine. Great. Okay, that creates that record. And now I need to create the record again, but for the other one. So const dub validation record equal to create route 53 validation record. We're going to pass it in the same certificate, 1, posted zone ID, and then time to live in seconds. So that should be the same one. We should throw an error if this doesn't find it. So we should do that ahead of time. So if it can't find that at all, so basically it'll be an if not certificate dot main validation options validation option index. Okay, so if you don't exist, I want to throw error, and we're gonna say I guess this is gonna be an out of bounds for domain validation options. So Domain validation options doesn't have index. Ooh. Validation option index. Okay. That gives me a little bit of protection in case things don't work out the way we expect them to. Okay, so we've now created that. So we've now done that for www2. If config include www, include the validation record for the www subdomain. Subdomain certificate validation domain equals undefined. Okay, so if that's subdomain certificate validation domain equals undefined. FQDN. That's interesting. Okay, so include the validation record for the www subdomain. So validation record FQDNS equals subdomain certificate validation domain. So we get this from creating this new record. Okay, so if this is undefined, then we just return this FQDN. Otherwise, if it is defined, then we have to return this. Oh, we're returning an array of these. This one thing, or return an array of both things. Oh, I see. It's the certificate validation domain, FQDN, and then both certificate and subdomain. Okay, so this is the validation record FQDNS, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, but we'll get it. So this is validation records FQDNS is going to be an array. We know we have both them, so we're going to have the validation record dot FQDN, and then we'll do the same thing for the other one because we did create it. Okay, this is a special resource that waits for AWS Certificate Manager to complete validation via the DNS record. Checking for a status of issued on the certificate itself. No actual resources are created or updated or deleted. Okay, so this is basically just checking to see, hey, did it do its thing? Oh, and this is where we need the FQDNS. I see. So certificate validation, this is a new variable. So certificate validation. Oh, now we pass it the certificate ARN. And that validation record FQDNS. And very interesting, they're not doing anything special with this. I guess it's just waiting. This could take a while when we run it. So I might end up doing, like, well, if I have time, I might end up doing this tonight. I don't know. I may have to go out and do shopping stuff. So maybe doing this at stream tomorrow. Okay, so certificate validation. Okay, so we create a new certificate validation. So we want a function to validate certificate. Oh, which then gives us our ARN for the certificate, which then is all the way back to the beginning of what this is all for. So this gives us back a certificate ARN. Okay, good to know. So I kind of want this to be a string to match with the other string that we're going to get out of it. So this is get validated. Well, I guess like I'm just gonna get the certificate validation. Okay, so validate certificate, and we're gonna return a certificate validation. Okay, so it's these two things, the certificate ARN, which means we need the certificate coming in. Yeah, we need the certificate. And we need this FQDNS, which is, we saw here, this validation record FQDNS. Oh, which is both of them. Okay, so it's the, it's an array of these. Okay, so this is an array of string. Oh, but it's this like weird Pulumi input strings here. You are Pulumi output strings. Oh. I don't want to have to use the any type, but I might have to. Oh, I didn't name this the same thing too. Like that. Okay, so can I say that? So you're happy there, and now if I try to use you, so validated certificate is now going to be equal to validate certificate, hand it the certificate, and then hand it this validation record. Nope, validation record, validation. There you go. But yeah, you're going to have a problem here because argument type output string is not assignable to type this because it's an array of those things. So I could put like output string. Ooh, okay, no errors. I like that. So we finally have our validated certificate, which then means that we finally can now assign this. We have a certificate ARN that we can grab out of here. And this entire thing was to get this certificate ARN and let it be here. So we're going to say let now. So if not certificate ARN, we're now going to assign this here. So certificate ARN is now going to be equal to validated certificate dot certificate ARN, which of course you're a Pulumi output string and you're an any, so I need this to be a I think we do like this apply thing where we get our object. We do o dot o is a string. No, like wait. O is a string. Type output string is not assignable to type string or undefined. Oh, because this could be undefined still. Oh, no. The previous one could be undefined because that's what the get config makes it. So you are, wait a second. Yeah, okay, so it's still an output. So apply doesn't get me what I expected to get. So method apply, transform the data, the output, the result remains an output. Okay, so that's not helpful. I want to oh wait. Did it suggest? To get the value of the output during cloud runtime execution, use get. Okay, so I want to use get instead. Which gets me a string. Okay, there we go. So now I have the certificate ARN here. We've gotten it. And that's a lot of work for us to do to get that, but here we are. And unfortunately, also means that I've run out of time. So we are at this point. We can now continue on here. So let's see where we are with the README. So we get the existing, I guess I get getting existing ARN. Create if not. So that should create a certificate, which also includes a dub certificate. And then build a project for release using trunk. Okay, so continuing on. It's probably going to be down here. Create Route 53 record. Oh, also that is kind of done here too. Right? Maybe? I'm not sure. Coming up here. Okay, so generate an origin access identity to access the private S3 bucket. Dub, add that in. Okay, so we're going to do some more things in here. So we're continuing on. Okay, so I will leave that as a note for myself for next time, whenever I pick this up again, to continue on it. I thinking now, I'm probably not going to be able to get to this tonight, so we'll just continue this tomorrow morning during stream time and see if we can get ourselves a deployment. But if it works, it's going to be really cool because it's going to auto deploy and set up CloudFront for us and everything, which is going to be great. So I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time to continue working on this. Hopefully you have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will see you all next time. Bye.